about this sort of topic, this story, but it does come from somewhere. Something happened on the morning of Wednesday, February 25th, 1942. And I was hearing about, like, I guess I have to thank the pandemic and the Clubhouse app, because that's where, if you know Clubhouse, it's an app where you pick your subjects that you want to follow, and I thought, and I saw something to do with UFOs, and I was just like, oh, let's check that out. So I've always been somewhat of an enthusiast, and met all these really cool people with all these stories, and they're sharing stories that I'm like, it's okay for these people to be sharing these stories? I'm like, what is going on? And I met people, and I have friends that I've made that are, that actually live down the block from me in Tarzana. It's just bizarre, but it's like things you find out, like you don't know until you know. And I kept hearing about this story about Battle of Los Angeles. Battle of Los Angeles, what the hell is that? And separate from what movies have been made, there was a movie made about a decade ago, big commercial film called The Battle of Los Angeles. There was aliens, and there was action, and blow this up and blow that up. And then there's a little company called The Asylum that did their own version. Actually, you know the director, which is funny.
Yeah, so I didn't know they did one.
Yeah, they do one for everything.
Yeah.
They really do.
I have some personal insight. I worked with Asylum on a couple of films.
Ross and I were going to be their very first film ever. That's how old we are. We met with David and Sherry, who was there at the time, at Jerry's Deli, and they were going to make Rubbernecking their first film, but they decided to go action. That's so funny. So we've known the Asylum.
So they make sure.
I don't think Jerry's Deli is even there anymore.
It's not even.
There is no Jerry's Deli anymore.
Everything I just said is old.
We're old school.
That's when we called him up on a rotary dial.
And just an outside trivia, what I ended up editing for a feature film for The Asylum is War of the Worlds 2. The next wave of C. Thomas Howell, which is a whole different experience.
That's right.
Altogether with that. And so I kept hearing about this Battle of Los Angeles, so I started kind of Googling and like, oh, what's this? What's that? And the story just wouldn't let go of me, kind of thing. And so I started Googling and finding out different things, and I don't want to keep rattling. So there seems to be something to this story, and other stories were going into action and stuff. I was really fascinated by the 1940s. Something paranormal existing in the 1940s was interesting to me because of the whole Roswell thing in '47. So it's just really stuck with me, and just I have to say thank you to my mom, who is the greatest. You all think your moms are the greatest. I'm sure
Everybody.
you're all lying. My mom is the absolute greatest. She's been supporting me for my entire life, and letting me move back in. My life is not anything I had planned for.
Life never
Who's
is.
this? Yeah.
You just have to
Who's
enjoy
this?
the ride.
Just-
I will actually be her roommate before this month ends.
Not in my room. Let's clarify that.
Yeah, those black and white cookies, that's why I'm here.
Bunk bed is coming in.
Anyway, I don't want to put this off any further. We are going to take a break. I actually have it marked on page 59, but it's in the middle of my narration, so, because I'm reading narration. Somehow we'll get
It'll
through
be
it.
fine.
And if anyone needs water, somebody can grab water, or there's water in the refrigerator as we go. So what we'll do is we'll take, on page 59, like an hour in, we'll take a 10-minute break. We'll order some food as well. And I think I need to sit down now.
Ross, you want the lights on?
Do we need light?
I think we're
It's
good
getting
for
a little
now.
dark.
Yeah.